Please select your character.
Welcome to Guilty Gear. The Steam version of this game is about to get rollback netcode on Steam, so I decided to talk about it. This is probably my favorite fighting game ever, which is saying something because I've played a lot of fighting games. Every character has got something that makes them completely unique, and so for this video, I'd like to go over, very quickly, like 30 seconds to a minute, just talk about a character and what their unique mechanics are. Starting with Kliff. Kliff has big buttons. Very big buttons. He can travel across the screen very quickly. That's it. Next we have Axel, the Dulzen of the game. So Axel also has very big buttons. And an uppercut. And a parry. But unlike Kliff, it's typically his job to keep the opponent away, whereas Kliff is really fast and has just big buttons as an extra. Axel has more range, and more threat from range. So he's the closest thing to his owner that isn't another character, which we'll get to last. Next is Jam. Cranberry Jam. She's very fast. She's very fast. She has short range, but her speed makes up for it. Her special moves are pretty lackluster. However, she can cancel into her cards. Specifically, she can only spend meter on her super attacks, and not on her EX special moves, because her EX special moves consume cards instead of meter. Likewise, she can also spend meter, like an EX special move, to get one of every card.
Please select your character.
Next is Zappa. This character's weird. He summons things. When he gets hit, he loses the summon. Each summon has a different set of special moves. And as you can see, I get these orbs surrounding me whenever I hit with those moves. And when that happens, this happens. And you become really powerful. Next is Chipp. He's an assassin character. He's very fast. He has an uppercut. He has a command grab. He has an air fireball that doesn't work half the time. And he's got Alpha Blade, which goes full screen. Almost. He also has this. Overall, this is a character that's all about confusing his opponent with his massive movement speed and tricky cross-ups and just generally being unpredictable. But he has a very low defense modifier, therefore he takes a lot of damage. At least technically he has a high defense modifier because he takes more damage. Anyway, next is the waifu. You want big buttons? Well, she's got big buttons. She also covers the screen in crap. And she can program these things to do different motions. But, as her name implies, she has the worst dizzy modifier in the game, so she is very easy to stun if she's hit a couple of times, especially in certain matchups. Next is Anji. Anji's sort of a versatile, all-around, basic character. He's got big buttons, but probably his most iconic mechanic is the butterfly. Because you can very easily just knock someone down, set the butterfly on them, and now they have to guess. And if he spends meter on it, that's an overhead right there. So he mixes up with lows and overheads. This is an overhead. So we can do stuff like this. Like this. I'm not an Anji player. Something like that. Combo off the overhead by using the butterfly. He also has a cool umbrella. Next is Slayer. Slayer's another relatively versatile character that excels at a couple of things. One thing that's completely broken, though, is his backdash. Every backdash in this game is invincible, but Slayer's backdash is jump cancelable, and pre-jump frames are special cancelable, which means he can do things like this. He's like Hakan from Street Fighter 4, except he's always oiled up. Aside from that, Slayer is a character that dominates the neutral game. Giant buttons, really high damage special moves, invincible combo starters, a jump attack that's impossible to anti-air, and the command grab, because he needed that too. Also of note is that Slayer's combos tend to involve links, whereas most characters' combos tend to involve chains. So if you prefer links over chains, Slayer might be a character for you as well. Also, this move, not that move, that move, is unreactable. It hits during the super freeze, so they have to be blocking before it freezes. It's a one-frame full-screen super, almost full screen. Bam! Which leads to a combo on counter hit, by the way. Next is her. She is the weakest character in the game. She's very slow. She only has a couple of good buttons, like this one, and this one, and that's about it. She has a fireball. Doesn't go very far at all. She has a command grab, but it sucks. It works from like here. Uh-oh. Now she's the best character in the game. So the way this works, you start off as normal mode, and your entire goal is to get into Moroha mode, which you can do by spending one of those 3 blood packs. They're infinite in training mode. Or by landing the command grab. There are ways to combo into the command grab as well. It's sort of a hit grab. Once you enter Moroha mode, either by the command grab or the blood pack, there will be a little timer that starts to tick down. It lasts a while, but every time you get knocked down, it gets chunked down by about 1/3. And if it ever reaches 0, you get stunned for a couple of seconds, and you re-enter normal mode. And this game has instant kills, which means if that ever happens, you lose. Like that. So, in order to prevent that from happening, you must use a blood pack or a key grab to exit Moroha mode and return to normal mode, thus resetting the timer and not getting stunned. So basically, for a few seconds, you're able to completely maul the opponent and do whatever mix-up you want, but you have to know your limits, and you have to not get hit once, well, twice. Twice because you can burst. Get out of Moroha mode, and then get back in Moroha mode. Usually you only have to do this once, maybe twice if you're getting your butt kicked, or more if you're really getting your butt kicked. It's also important to note that while in Moroha mode, you will deal damage to yourself proportional to the damage that you deal to the opponent. However, you will get a portion of that life back once you exit Moroha mode. Unless, of course, you get knocked down. But if you get Moroha stunned, you get none of it back, and now none of it's recoverable ever again. If you have meter, you can also enter Goku Moroha mode to be even stupider. This also will reset the Moroha gauge to full when you use it. So that's a secondary option. It does require a blood pack to go into Goku Moroha mode though. Next is Johnny, a fan favorite. Johnny's playstyle is all about being a cool dude. So you have Mistfinder. You have Punch Mistfinder, which goes up, Kick Mistfinder, which goes forward, and Slash Mistfinder, which goes down. You can press H during any of these to cancel. Mistfinder. You can also throw coins. Uh-oh, I'm out of coins. So every time you hit with a coin, boom, level 2, you see that? Boom, level 3. So you start at level 1 and you go up to at max level 3 by throwing coins and having them hit the opponent. And each level will increase the strength of your Mistfinder. So level 1 Mistfinder looks like this. Level 2 Mistfinder looks like this. And level 3 Mistfinder looks like that. Now, the strength of getting level up Mistfinder is like you actually can cancel faster. Which essentially makes all of your attacks better on block because you can Mistfinder cancel all of them and then cancel the Mistfinder and then dash in or do whatever you want. Johnny has a couple of other cool special moves like the Mist. This makes it so that all of your Mistfinders are unblockable, but you're gonna have a hard time setting that up properly. You have this move, which is a full screen cross up. And you have Nsenga, the infamous Nsenga. Next is Milia. This is the mixed up monster. So she gets in by doing hairpins, which you can see the hairpins on the floor right by Soul's feet. I can walk over and crouch to pick it back up again. Basically, you use the hairpin to get in, and once you're in, you mix up, because you have a low, and you have an overhead, and you have a roll, and you have things to set up on the opponent while they're getting off the ground. Put the disc on them, and then while the disc is on them, you can do your overheads, your lows, your cross-ups. Your cross-up overheads. Basically, this is the character that is all about, you better guess right, otherwise you're having to guess again. And if you don't guess right this time, you're guessing again. And if you don't guess right this time, you're dead. She is also one of the few characters who has additional air actions. Specifically, she has 2 air dashes, a little bit faster in the air than most characters. However, just like Chipp, she is very low defense and dies very quickly, so you better get out of there fast if you're in trouble. Next is Soul Badguy. Soul's another versatile all-around character. He has a fireball, He has an uppercut. He has Viper. He has Fireball Feint. And he has the iconic Wild Throw, which leads into a full combo whenever you hit with it. He also has a really good kicking attack. Really, there's no reason not to mix up between this and this. And if you want to optimize him, he has really cool looping combos using the attack Sidewinder. So the way Sidewinder works is you have to hit with a specific part of the Sidewinder, and you'll do a wall bounce. You can continue the combo up to a certain number of times. Of course, he also has simpler combos that do a little bit less damage but are easier to do, and don't look as cool. He also has Fafnir, which is really good, and I believe it's plus on block. He also has Bandit Bringer, which is an overhead launcher. It is also plus on block. Just overall, just a really solid character in every way. Just no glaring strengths or glaring weaknesses. And then we have Ryu. Once again, we have Fireball. We have very slow Fireball. We have air fireballs. We have uppercuts. And we have overheads. We don't have a command grab, however, we have really good normals that cancel into really good fireballs. And very easy to perform Okizeme options. You do whatever you want right there. Just overall, the ultimate basic character of Guilty Gear. He excels at playing Guilty Gear more than the other Guilty Gear characters. Most Guilty Gear characters excel at playing the character. Ky is just knock him down, put a fireball on him, play Guilty Gear. And then we have Order Soul. Holy Order Soul. We just call him Haas. This is kind of a KOF character. He's got a hop. He's got soul normals, but better. And he has really weak special moves. But after each special move, he can press the D button to do a little bit of charge. He gets a little bit of that meter down there, you see that? We'll do it again, he has more meter. And whenever he performs a special move, he gets to spend that meter, and the special move gets a little bit better. Up to 2 times. Really cool character. He has a really short hop, so you can just sort of jump in with him, and it's really hard to anti-air. And then he gets to hit you, and then he gets to power up, and then you're having a bad time. Next is Robo Ky. He's basically Ky, but not quite. He doesn't use the typical super meter, although it functions mostly the same. Except now all of his special moves require that meter. He also doesn't have a sweep. It's this little mat. While he's in the mat, he gets a little bit of meter. You also know that over time, he'll start to heat himself up. And he will eventually blow up. He also has a unique mechanic to him that is delayed wake up. So I can spend a little bit of meter to stay on the ground slightly longer, which can mess up with some Okizeme. Next is Mei. Mei's got a big anchor, and she swings it. She has really good range on her normals, including her jump normals. But you're not anti-airing this. She's the game's dedicated charge character. She has Sonic Boom, Dolphin. If it hits, she can bounce off. She has Up Dolphin, Flash Kick Dolphin, and she can also call the Dolphins as assists. And then release them whenever she wants them out. So I do the move, now the Dolphin's out, and I release the button, and it comes out. And she has big, meaty overhead. Boom! For that damage. And she can also feint her universal overhead and go low instead for a launcher. If she has meter, she can actually hop off the dolphins as she's riding them. That's the normal dolphin. That's how she spends the meter. And same with the up versions as well. Overall, this is just a big buttons, kind of fast, but not really. High damage setup character with a command grab. Because she needed a command grab too. Next, we have the infamous Eddie and Zato. So if you ever wanted to play two characters at once, this is the character for you. First, you have Zato, which is this guy. You know, he's kind of good. He doesn't really have a double jump as much as he has a fly, or like a hover. But what makes him really strong is the Eddie. So you notice the Eddie meter down there. And if I recall him, it goes back to full. But I control Zato by pressing buttons, and I control Eddie by releasing buttons. He is definitely top 2 hardest characters to play in the game. As a character, he's just BS all over the place because he's attacking from 2 angles at once. So if you're blocking, you're going to be blocking for a long time. And if he knocks you down, he's attacking low and high at the same time, which is impossible to defend against. And of course, they had to give him a command grab because why not? Next up is Testament. Testament is the trap character. He will set traps on the screen. He will set skulls around the place. He has this thing, which you can set up and move during. Grim Reaper. He can have 2 of these things out at once. Because why not? He also places these nets around the place. And they'll get stuck there. Or you could just throw down a net and be like, what are you gonna do? You can hit the nets out of the air to get them gone sooner. If you like medium-sized buttons, not too big, but not jam karate levels. And if you like putting stuff on the screen that the opponent has to deal with, then this is the character for you. Next we have the A.B.A. So Baiken. I can't. Baiken has Tatami. And that's really her only move. Everything else she has is mediocre. Like she has this move, which is okay. She has this move, which is okay. So really her only tactic in neutral is to do air dash into Tatami and Mat, because that's all she really has. Where this character shines is she has these moves, which are free guard cancels. So if I block something, I can just be like, I'm not blocking anymore. So keep in mind these moves are pretty nice and have a little bit of invincibility, but not complete invincibility. So yeah, he hit me out of one of them. That should have been a block string, but because I tried to do my guard cancel like right as he hit me, so it actually counter hit me. So this is the character that plays her game, not her opponent's game, but she has to be good at that game in order to actually see success. And honestly, her game's not that strong. Next we have Venom. This is a pretty cool character. He fights with cue balls. So with sonic booms. He can charge the sonic booms. He has flash kicks to make them go up. He can charge those as well. Probably his iconic is the set. And now he can hit the balls. He can hit them. And they'll go flying at the opponent. And depending on what move you use, they'll fly at different trajectories. Overall, this is one of the more balanced characters in the game. He can play a zoning game in certain matchups, or he can play a rushdown game in others. Kind of like Guile. He can set the ball, hit it, follow it in for pressure, or he can just set the ball and strike out real fast to keep the opponent away. And he's quite good at both playstyles. Next is Bridget. This is a guy, not a girl. I promise. So Bridget has really big buttons with the yo-yo. And he can set the yo-yo with his H attack, his H button. He doesn't have heavy attacks, he just has the yo-yo. He can use the yo-yo for various purposes. He can turn it into a bear. He can turn it into a saw. Or you can do that. And mark the opponent. And now wherever the opponent goes, it'll follow them. And the thing will appear on top of them automatically. You can also use the yo-yo as movement. So I throw the yo-yo up really high, and now this move puts me up really high. But Bridget's one of the best characters at just staying really high for really long periods of time. I think overall Bridget just doesn't do enough damage to be very viable, but other than that, he's a cool character. Next we have Weirdo. He is simultaneously the shortest character in the game and the tallest character in the game. He has giant freaking buttons. He has insane mobility with this move. He can start going one direction and then start going the other direction. A very common tactic you'll see, using that to short hop. I can't get it into one of his big normals. Like that or whatever. You get the point. But his most iconic thing is clearly his crouch walk. I forgot he had this. His most iconic move not that one either. Is the item toss. So this is completely random what item you get, and the way you play should probably adapt to the item that you see coming out of your hands. But if you wanted to practice, you can set it in training mode. I want the donut, the hammer, I want the time bomb, I want the poison, I want the chocolate, I want the mini Faust. Or if you get lucky, you'll get the meteors. But in a real match, it'll be completely random. You have to react to the situation accordingly. Typically, you don't see this in combos. You see it at the end of combos, and then what he does on the opponent's wake-up will depend on the item. If you like going into the lab and figuring out the best combinations of attacks depending on what item you get, I think this character might be for you. He also has the best instant kill in the game. Destroy! Next we have the Grappler. He can't forward dash. You have to jump or super jump. Or hammer fall to get in with this character. If you do get in, you have the Podbuster, which has stupid range, stupid damage, and you can combo off of it, because why not? So Hammerfall is his main way of getting in. It has one hit of armor. You can also break the Hammerfall, cancel it early, feint it, whatever. Something like that. His backdash looks terrible, but it's the best backdash in the game. I believe it has one frame where it is vulnerable, and the rest of the animation is completely unhittable. He also has a full screen unblockable. The best way to deal with this is to either jump, but that's hard to deal in reaction, or backdash. Because if you don't avoid it, it's a hard knockdown. He's gonna hammer fall in, and you're gonna have a bad time because you're gonna get mixed for days. So if you enjoy slow grapple-ability characters, jump on, or whatever he says in the new game, is the character for you. Next is Justice. truest zoner in the game. She has no forward dash, she has no air dash, but she has missiles. Come on, Honky, work with me. Really, not much else to show with this character. Good luck getting in on a character that has that type of missiles. If she has meter, she can use it to travel across the screen instantly. She also has a level 2 super that does that much damage. She also has a full screen super with an instant startup that knocks the opponent away. And did I mention she has missiles? The final character, No. Her normals are okay. You know, her mobility's okay. You know, she has an okay fireball that she can direct. She can go up or down. But she has this forward dash, which means she has instant overheads. And she has this jumping D, which might not seem like much, but it hops her up a little bit. That means she gets to mix up between high-low and high-high. She can also double jump this. So let's keep count of the mix-ups. She has low, high, and then after the high, she has high-low or high-high. She also has high, delayed high. She also has high, high, delayed high. And then after each delayed high, she has high, low, or high, high. And let's not forget about the fact that if she knocks you down, she still has Morrigan Dash to cross up. And I haven't even considered her air specials, which all cancel from all of her jump attacks. And their overheads. So basically, every time you get hit by this character, she knocks you down and you don't burst. You have to guess between like 27 different options. The only caveat to this is that she is the other contender for the hardest character in the game to play, because she really relies on these things. Romantic. Zato is just hard to play in general, but is hard to play in her combos, and I think she's a little bit harder to play than Zato. And just as an honorable mention, she has one super move, which is the best move in the game. So it's really fast, really invincible, plus on block, hits everywhere. Like it hits behind her as well, so you can just sort of use it and you're guaranteed to start your mix-ups, which her mix-ups are dumb. Anyway, that's a very quick 30-second ranting about every character in the game. I don't play every character in the game. I have not played every character in the game. I haven't played this game in years. Obviously, if you want simple characters to play, to just learn the game with before you dive in and pick a main character, these two characters are pretty simple. Soul, Kai, and Haas. Slayer and Anji are a little bit easier than most characters. Kliff's just big buttons to character. May's big buttons to character, although she requires you to like hold down buttons with her dolphins. Or if you're just a grappler character, then just pick up Potemkin right away, because he's the grappler of the game. If you just want to ruin your tendons in your hand, then go play Ino or Zato. Or if you're like me and you like cool characters, you play the A.B.A. Or you can play Bridget if you're into that sort of thing.